In part one of this interview,
So I was, from the get-go, when COVID first started, I'm like, yeah, something's not right here. And then in September of 2021, I chose to leave that job because it was going to be mandated come the next month, and I was not going to do that. I, first off, don't really have my kids or myself get any of the vaccinations anymore that the CDC recommends, because the majority of them are not needed and they cause issues in other ways. And I was actually raised Jewish, but I knew that there was always a God, and a lot of it, I think, was in March of 21. I kept hearing, there's more. Kept hearing, there's more, there's more. And I know now that it was, ultimately God talking to me and telling me there's more. Yes, Western medicine does come in play for, broken arm, a major surgery of some sort that has to be done. But other than that, 9 times out of 10, if you were just to maybe change some of the foods that you're eating, or change the lifestyle that you're living, or getting more sleep, there's a lot of different things that could be done other than just going for that pill. But yeah. Just the more and more things that I kept researching, probably basically started when I started researching, looking into cloth diapers for my youngest, because we had so many issues with my 3 older ones that every single one of them had some type of issue to a reaction to some brand of diaper.
Yeah.
So when I started going down that rabbit hole, per se, it led me down another one and another one and another one and another one. And I could keep going because there's multiple rabbit holes I've been down. You're lathering yourself up with chemicals. That's literally just going into your bloodstream. But I still wasn't completely awake at that point, because then my youngest, like I said, she still got hers all the way up till she was 2.
I had a friend that told me her brother was completely fine until he got his MMR shot when he was like 2.
That's the biggest
and
one
she
that
said,
comes into play.
So either delay that one or don't give it to them. And so I already knew, okay, I believe a parent more than I believe the government saying it's not true.
Right.
I believe what a parent says. They're fine until they get the shot. There's something wrong.
Right.
So when my first one was born, the first thing they ask is, like, do you want to give him the hepatitis B shot? And I looked at their little sheet they gave me, and I'm like, well, I don't want him to have that. So I was like, well, okay, we'll give him this one. Well, had I known then what I know now, hepatitis B is a sexually transmitted disease. There's no way he's going to have it unless I had it.
Right.
And I did not have it. So there was absolutely zero reason for him to have that shot. And they do that for every newborn.
Yep.
So it's ridiculous.
Yep. Same with the eye ointment.
Now for part 2.
The eye ointment and the vitamin K is not needed either. And I'm still researching more into that, but I even pushed on that not being done. Now there are some people who choose to, like you said, delay.
And that's what we did at first with Paul.
And it's not going to matter if you delay or not. It could still end up happening.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there is, no delay schedule. You're either going to not do it or you're going to do it, because it doesn't matter how far out you delay it. It still could potentially happen. And you don't know if it's going to be your kid that it happens to. You don't know if it's going to be your sister's kid that it happens to.
Yeah.
It can happen. And God made our bodies.
Yes.
To heal.
Yes.
God made our bodies to not have all of these things in them that don't need to be in them. And he has given us ways to heal them naturally. That a shot full of chemicals and God knows what else because we know there's things in there that shouldn't even be in there.
Yes.
That filling that child up with that is not going to change things. That's going to actually harm that child. And you know, when we're pregnant, they tell you, oh, avoid this fish because it's got too much mercury. Avoid this because it's got too much that. But yet you can give a child a shot with 4 times as much mercury in it than that fish.
Yeah.
Something ain't mathin'.
Or even the shots that they give the parents while the mom.
Right.
While she
that
was
was
pregnant.
that was another thing, and I wonder as well because I had shots when I was pregnant with my third. Didn't think about it, and I had actually had to, because I got injured at work on something. I think I'd cut myself on a blade opening a box, and of course they came in and I had to get the Tdap. And that makes me wonder too, like some of the things that I was pregnant with him, and is that part of what caused? I also had a tooth pulled when I was pregnant with him, and they okayed for me to be on Tylenol with codeine. I think it was actually the hydrocodone. Had I known then, would have known now, I would have said no. But I wonder if part of that also, because me taking that when I was pregnant with him, caused some of the issues that we have with him. And thankfully, over time, things have seemed to have shifted with us going more change of diet, change of different things, going more with natural things to help our bodies, that he's shifted a different direction of going more good and not having so many issues. But definitely it was a road. It was, you know, it took time for us to figure that out, and it's, you know, it's been a journey, but I definitely don't recommend any shots to any
So who
person.
are some people that you've researched from? Because I can tell you the first one that I heard that really helped me to be able to say no more shots was Dr. Tenpenny.
Yes, she's a big one.
Because she uses the research to show it to you, which is what I needed.
Yes.
I would have people tell me, like, don't get the shots, but I wanted to know for myself, like, why? What is it that's not good, you know?
Right.
So
yeah, Dr. Tenpenny was one. I mean, I can't think of, like, names off I mean, some of it was just, like, Instagram pages that I would, you know, start seeing stuff and coming up, and then I would go to that page, and then it was something like they had posted an article from Dr. Tenpenny, or, you know, other people.
I listened to, I don't really anymore, but Del Bigtree.
Yes, that's who.
He does
he
a
was
lot
another
of
one
research and interviews people a lot.
Yes.
And so I loved listening to him too.
Yes, that was the other one. And they, like you said, they don't just tell you not to get them. They have the research backing of why not to get them, and, you know, stuff like that. And there was also David Wolf is another one. But some of more of like your more naturopathic doctors and stuff like that would have stuff. But more Dr. Tenpenny and Del Bigtree were two of the biggest ones too, as far as like who that, you know, I would go to their stuff and be like, okay, what do we got doing here? And like I said, it was, you know, just going down one rabbit hole after another rabbit hole. I was on Telegram for a long time and ended up having to leave Telegram because it will suck you in and take up your whole world. But that is a lot of where my information was coming from, because too, social media,
at that time,
Instagram, Facebook weren't posting a lot of it at that time.
Very difficult to find that information. I found that when I wanted to research about it myself, and I went to Google and I would put something in like what's wrong with shots or something, and then it'd pull up an article of some woman that was like, I was afraid to go give my kids shots, and then I went and gave it and he was fine. And I'm like, this is not what I'm looking for. And so it was very hard to find the information until you found one, and then they could point you to another and another. And then you could actually get the information that I was looking for. because of, and then during COVID, there was also all of the, what's it called when they won't let you have certain information on your site. They would delete all of the information they weren't approving of.
Right. They were the quote unquote fact checkers.
Yes.
But most of those fact checkers have come back now that it is actually legit information that is now coming out that we know what we're talking about.
Yes. It's come full circle finally.
It has come full circle.
But at the time it was,
but yes,
it was
definitely
very
back from
frustrating.
like 2020 to even just a year ago. They were stopping things, and I can't think of what the word is, but yeah, they were stopping things from being able to be posted because it was quote unquote not right. But no, we have been made right.
Yes.
per se.
All right, so you talked about health and eating. I know you guys eat much better than I do. So what kind of diet do you guys eat?
Well, at first, when I was finding out that I had a lot of autoimmune issues going on, my naturopathic doctor had me cut out gluten, dairy, and sugar. And that was huge because
It's a lot of stuff.
that's a lot of stuff. That's like everything that you eat pretty much. And then also had us, any meats that we were eating needed to either be organic or grass-fed. Any vegetables that we were eating needed to be organic, especially if they were on the Dirty 15. And the Dirty 15 is a list of fruits and vegetables that if they're on that Dirty 15, they should be eaten organic because of the way they are produced. And chances are they are covered in glyphosate anyways because of the stuff that they spray on them. So if we eat anything vegetable wise, we try to eat organic anyways, whether it's on that Dirty 15 or not. Strawberries is a huge one and generally almost always comes up on number 1 on the Dirty 15 list. You can take a organic strawberry and the list is organic strawberries. Your conventional strawberries will have a list of ingredients that is 100 miles long. And a lot of that because that comes from what is sprayed on them, what they're grown in, and because the organics, they have a different guideline that they have to follow. And a lot of that glyphosate is also causing gut issues. And so we just really watch what we eat as far as that goes. Dairy, when I cut it out, we started having a lot less gut issues. So now if we do any dairy, we either do raw or organic or grass-fed. Sugar is a huge one. Most people don't realize how addictive sugar is. Sugar is actually more addictive than cocaine. And sugar is literally in pretty much everything we eat. Whether it be regular cane sugar or some other type of form of sugar, dextrose, sucrose, anything that ends in ose basically is a sugar. Even your more natural sugars are still not great because they're going to raise your blood sugar levels. And sugar destroys our gut. Sugar is the biggest thing that destroys your gut. And carbs, if you're eating carbs, that turns to sugar. So then you're still, even though they say low carbs, and so we cut out all that, and then we were pretty much just eating vegetables and meats. So we pretty much were living like a keto lifestyle and felt much better because your body doesn't have all that crud going into it. And then for a long time, we were doing it for a long time, but then we went off and we have gone back to eating the standard American diet of just processed foods, and which are not good for you. And it doesn't matter how they process them. Processed foods are not good for you. We always kind of also, like, before we started cutting all the other stuff, I always tried to watch like dyes and high fructose corn syrup, because the numbered dyes are not good for you, and they're cancer causers. And
thankfully a lot of that is changing now with RFK in there. They're changing some slowly.
yes, exactly. I mean, granted, it's not going to be for a while, but I've seen now too that companies are already starting to say that they're going to pull products.
Yes.
Won't be till 2027, they say, but companies are already starting to pull the products. The dyes and stuff like that, but a lot of companies still are doing like the high fructose corn syrup, and they're still, so you just got to watch that.
But I actually learned about high fructose corn syrup from a teaching book I was reading in college, because I went to school to be a teacher. And she talked about it in there because of the harm it does mentally, like the brain fog that it can bring. And so that's how I learned about high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, it's not good for you. And the way that it's made, if you were to ever see how it is made, how canola oil is made, it is nasty. It is absolutely disgusting. So we try to avoid that in the first place.
Which is hard, because once you start looking at labels, it's in everything. It's in barbecues, barbecue sauce, like anything you look at. All the pops have high fructose corn syrup.
Yep.
But yeah, almost anything that you look at, it has it in there.
Yeah. So, and we've noticed now too, with going back and being not so good and going back to eating the standard American diet, that our bodies are definitely feeling that inflammation and whatnot, and that we need to, get back off of that stuff. So we are trying more to do strictly more carnivore and just eating meat and animal-based. And so far, definitely a change again. It's definitely hard, because when you've, been eating that stuff and getting used to eating it again, it's hard to clean all of that out. But it is definitely better for your body, your stomach, any ailments you may have going on, arthritis, brain fog, like you were saying. There's multiple different things that those foods cause to our bodies that we don't realize until you actually eliminate them.
Yes, yeah.
That, oh, wait a minute, this was, something that was actually harming me. Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize that, because we are so addicted to the way our food has been. But if you look back to, probably even say going back to like 50s and 60s, we didn't have processed food like we have now.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, our relatives got sick, but not like the rampant,
the chronic
diseases and the more and more cancers and stuff like that coming out. That if you look at it, it's literally when all of the processed foods started coming more and more out. And so I've gotten to the point now where it's like, if I look at something and it has ingredients in it that I can't read, I'm putting that back on the shelf.
Yeah.
And actually now one of the first things I will look for too is if it says it's a bioengineered ingredient. If it's got anything in there, it's going right back on the shelf. Because you don't want anything bioengineered that has been created, and chances are it being created and not God's creation, that's not going to be good for your body. So that is like ultimately one of the first things I look at. Now sometimes it's hard with having a teenager in the house and he feels like he wants to eat whatever he can eat. And I have to just, when he's out of the house, I have to just trust that he's doing what he should be doing. So, and I know he's not always good, but I do notice when he's not always good, the attitude and the misbehavior and stuff coming back. So we just, we try to, but yeah, it's definitely the cleaner you eat, the better your body's going to feel. And if there's ingredients in there that, like I was saying, you can't read, or it's a multiple list of ingredients, you don't want it in your body. Just put it back.
Yeah.
Because it's just ultimately...
To be continued.